Hello and welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. I'm your host, the whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Minds, and this is Black Minds News. Black Minds News is to report, articulate, transmit, communicate, insinuate, develop, investigate, unveil, decode, spread the news, whether it's by news, video, websites, or quotes from publications. As I, your whiteologist, articulate this information, I ask that the creator of the universe be here, heart, soul, mind, and spirit. Because why? The truth don't need no partner. As a descendant of the greatest people who created this place that we call the United States, we, the foundational black America, the bloodline, historical lineage, the historical people known as slaves, we who call ourselves BADOS, Black American Descendant of Slaves. Some say Black African Descendant of Slaves. Some say ADOS, American Descendant of Slaves. We, the today children, offspring, and present generation, we give honor to our ancestors. You know what the motto of my show is? I'm never going to tell you what I heard. I'm only going to tell you what I know. Again, today's date is October 8, 2019. Breaking news. Breaking news. Did you hear? Seems like they have caught some suspects in the Joshua Brown situation, scenario, murder and killing. That's right, I'm going to say it again. Accordingly, allegedly, they found suspects in the Joshua Brown murder. Well, that's what we're going to do today. Stay tuned as we, Black Minds News, will delve into this breaking news story. Then I got a little treat after the back of it. But first and foremost, let's go ahead and get in this and stay tuned for this broadcast. Hey, how's y'all doing? Again, this is your host, Mr. Blows Your Minds, and this is Black Minds News Report. Got a breaking story here about the Joshua Brown situation, and I wanted to bring you up to speed because I did a show earlier today live, again, trying to get back into the swing and trying to be on top of things, and now that I got everything the way I kind of want it. So, first and foremost, let me go ahead and get into this and let you see what this is. That's this breaking news story for those who may not have heard. Let me go ahead and set this up for you, and we're going to go ahead and get it out for you. So check this out. Be right back.
3 suspects in the Joshua Brown murder. Jacarius Mitchell, black male, 20 years of age. Michael Mitchell, black male, 32 years of age. Thaddeus Green, black male, 22 years of age. According to suspect Jacarius Mitchell, all 3 suspects came from Alexandria, Louisiana, to purchase drugs from Joshua Brown. Thaddeus Green was the facilitator. He's the one that contacted Joshua Brown. As they drove to the offense location, Thaddeus Green gets out of the vehicle, has a conversation with Joshua Brown, which escalates into physical altercations, at which time Jacarius Mitchell gets out of the vehicle and he states that Joshua Brown orders him back into the vehicle and shoots him in the chest. As he's laying in the vehicle, he hears 2 more gunshots. He says that Thaddeus Green shot Joshua Brown 2 times. According to the autopsy report, Joshua Brown was shot 2 times in his lower body. One was a through and through, and the other entered his body just below the spine, traveled upward, damaging vital organs. Thaddeus Green also took the backpack that Joshua Brown had, as well as the gun that Joshua Brown had. Michael Mitchell was the driver. He dropped Thaddeus Green off at an unknown location, and he took Jacarius Mitchell to Promise Hospital to receive treatment. He was later transported to Parkland Hospital, where he is currently in police custody. We will execute a warrant for capital murder on him today. We also received numerous tips as it related to the killing of Mr. Brown, and in that, we executed a search warrant at Mr. Brown's apartment, where we confiscated 12 pounds of marijuana, 143 grams of THC cartridges, and $4,000 in cash. We have also issued capital murder warrants for the other two suspects, Michael Mitchell and Thaddeus Green. I want to assure the citizens of Dallas that we will continue to be transparent, and we will provide updates as they materialize concerning this case.
All right. First and foremost, I want to say what's good to my subscribers that should be having the house. What's good, fam? Passerbys, again, this is the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. Go down the aisle, see some things you might like, see some things that make you feel some kind of way. Remember that the motto of the show is the truth don't need no partner. Now, again, that is the breaking news of the story. Again, the Dallas police named 3 suspects in the Joshua Brown murder investigation, right? Now it says witness in Geiger case was fatally shot during the drug deal. Police say 2 suspects are still at large. Now the story that I have here is they still were at large. As you just seen there, they supposedly had apprehended. So I'm going to give you, according to the update they had then, it said Dallas police officials on Tuesday said a news conference at Dallas police headquarters, which you just seen on the video, that they have 3 suspects in connection with the shooting death of Joshua Brown. All 3 suspects came from Alexandria, Louisiana, to purchase drugs from Brown. Police say 1 suspect is in custody and a warrant has been issued for the 2 other suspects. Brown was fatally shot Friday in an apartment complex in Cedar Springs Road. Assistant Chief Avery Moore identified the suspects as Thaddeus Charles Green, 22. And I think I do have the pictures for you on that, right? Let me go ahead. That's that one there. I got Thaddeus Green here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and show you the pictures of you who's who. So that's Thaddeus Green, right? Thaddeus Charles Green, putting their whole name out there, right? And then you have, they don't have a picture of, the other one is Jacarius Mitchell, who was 20. I guess he's the one that's in the hospital. And then they had the other individual who was, his name is Michael Diaz Mitchell. Let me show you what the picture they got of him. Okay. And that's the other individual there that supposedly was taking place. So again, Jacarius Mitchell supposedly is the one that's in custody at Parkland Hospital. That's what Moore said, right? According to the announcement came as pressure increased from community leaders from the independent investigation into Brown's case. Brown was a witness in the murder trial of the former Dallas police officer Amber Geiger, which ended last week in her conviction. The timing of Brown's death raised public speculations about whether the shooting was tied to his testimony. Moore gave condolences to the Brown family and said the department was working diligently to get to the two suspects who are at large. Moore then addressed the conspiracy theory and said they simply are not true. Okay, this is what Moore said, of course. All right. Without pointing to a specific statement, he issued a warning to community leaders. I encourage those leaders to be mindful of their actions moving forward because of their words have jeopardized the integrity of the city of Dallas as well as the Dallas Police Department, he said. According to police, the three suspects were in the same car when they arrived at Brown's apartment complex on Friday night. Green got out of the car and had an argument with Brown that escalated. Jaquarius Mitchell told police when he got out of the car, Brown shot him first. Jaquarius Mitchell told police he heard two more gunshots that Green fired as they laid inside the vehicle. Green took Brown's backpack and gun. Police said Michael Mitchell was the driver and dropped off Green at an unknown location. Michael Mitchell then dropped off Jaquarius, who is his nephew, at the hospital. Officers were called Friday night to the Interior Apartments at the 4600 block of Cedar Spring Road, where witnesses reported hearing gunshots and seeing a silver four-door sedan speed out of the parking lot. The shooting occurred around 3.5 miles from the Southside Flat complex in Cedar, where Brown had lived across the hall from Botham Jean. The black neighbor Geiger shot as he sat in the apartment. Geiger, a white officer, was on off-duty when the shooting occurred and said she had mistaken Jean's apartment for her own. Geiger was convicted on murder last week and sentenced to 10 years in prison. The department confirmed Sunday afternoon that the 28-year-old Brown was the victim of whom officers found around 10:30 p.m. Friday with multiple gunshot wounds to his lower body. Brown died after being taken to Parkland Memorial Hospital. Police said when they searched Brown's apartment, they confiscated 12 pounds of marijuana, 143 grams of THC cartridges, and $4,000 in cash. Before the news conference Tuesday, State District Judge Tammy Kemp, who presided over Geiger's trial, said in an interview she was shocked to learn of his death and deeply saddened for his family. I just can't imagine what his parents might be going through, and I hate that for them. Kemp said, I really hate that for them. Kemp recalled how Brown was visibly moved during the Geiger murder trial. During the trial, Brown testified about the night Jean, who lived across the hall from him, was shot. He told the jury how he had been returning home after watching a football game at the bar the night of September 6th of 2018. Standing in the hallway, he heard what sounded like two people meeting by surprise, followed by gunfire. Brown got emotional when he recounted how he hadn't met Jean before that day. They were both visited by the leasing office about a noise complaint, but he often heard his neighbors sing gospel music and Drake. Brown, 28, had played football at the University of South Florida. He was from Jacksonville, Florida, and had worked managing Airbnbs before his death. Okay, so that is what the story is, and the update, what they talked about is to give you a little synopsis of the background of that. Let me get that visual off the screen there. So, according to them, they have suspects due to the simple fact of what supposedly had been transpired through the ordeal of what took place at the complex. Now, I did the live earlier today where we did the story as into when they had no information, right? It was just, he was dead. They had no suspects, no witnesses, nothing. Now, accordingly, that took place Friday, correct? That was Friday when that took place, right? When the news broke and that took place. So here we is today being what? Tuesday? So again, they're going to say again, as the mayor came out earlier today, saying that black people need to stop what? Speculating, right? They need to stay out of that and quit speculating. Again, we know you into the conspiracy theory. You believe that it is the department that did it, even though some things might have been said. But now look, we got some guys that came from Alexandria, Louisiana, right? All about some drugs, they say, right? Well, pretty much today, marijuana is becoming legalized. So again, I guess it's the quantity, not so much about what it is, right? It's the quantity and not so much about what it is, right? If you legalize it, so it wasn't a drug deal, right? Okay, so anyway, so we have a situation here that, again, we have, according to what they're showing, 3 suspects. And some people will take this at face value and say, all right, good police work, or was it really? Because again, if he got shot on Friday, gunshot wounds, when was the police notified when he went in and they dropped him off, according to the story? So they dropped him off at the hospital, right? So he must have been in bad shape, because again, you knew once you go up into the hospital, you know what's going to happen. They're going to pull that police report and you're going to have to tell where you got shot at, right? So let's just say, for instance, okay, that was Friday, today, Tuesday. So that's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 3 days. They sat on that information. Right? They already knew. Did they have to already know already, or did they just have to assume that they didn't know? And they just now, again, based on the fact that maybe they didn't want to bring attention, so they were going to try to go and apprehend. You got Michael Mitchell, and what was the other individual name? We got Michael Mitchell, and what was the other? You got Thaddeus Green, right? And so we hear in the video, you hear that they're talking about capital punishment, no hesitation, right? Now, again, for those, again, when we seen what happened with the Botham Jean situation, that was not on the table, right? They're talking about 20, they're talking about life, but not no capital punishment again. Again, to each his own, right? But the point is, right now, this is what they're talking about. Now, he is a witness to the situation, and here's somebody that he was testifying for or witnessing to, but they didn't have that on the table. But on this black on black, you're going to get the capital punishment. You know that's coming, right? You know that's right. They're going to make the point, because again, the thing is it a patsy? Some people will say, maybe they just found somebody. You never know. You know what I'm saying? You never know, because again, nobody wants to connect that to that and give the whole name of that. Would just open up the can of worms to a whole lot of other things. So again, they make it a drug deal. Now again, you have to ask yourself, is it possible? Is there some credibility to it? We won't know until everything comes out. But somewhere in that story just said that the person, Mitchell, was like, this ain't true, right? I heard that once upon a time, going back to some time when they talked about, again, with Michael Jordan, when his father came up missing. And his name was Michael Green too, right? Him and Demetrius, I forgot the white boy name. But he said he didn't do it. He claimed that whole time he didn't do it. So again, right now, based on the media, and again, social media and those, again, Black Lines News and so forth, we're going to tell this story. So again, certain people will take this at face value and be relieved, and some people will still question it. But again, is the truth really going to be revealed? Not until later in time. Because again, they say what they said. Now again, a witness that I heard earlier, according to what she had said, she said she heard pop, 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 right? She heard 6 shots, right? Pop, 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 3 and 3, right? Okay, so accordingly, he shot first. Right? They're saying accordingly, he's shooting first. So then let's look at now that the image that you're going to display of Joshua Brown, that he's shooting first, he's selling drugs. Then how good a credibility can you take about what he said? You get what I'm saying? So now it gets, again, is it by coincidence that the situation like this manifests itself? Right? Is it really truly that situation happened, and that here it is that after what you just went through, knowing what you just testified to, right? Knowing what you just testified to, would you put yourself in that kind of situation? Because you already know they looking at you, right? You know they looking at you. So what would make you think that you going to be cool about everything nonchalantly? I'm going to go back out here and be up on the street as if they don't got an issue with you. So that's why some people going to be speculative, as they say they don't want us to be, or to question, or to theorize it, is because sometimes it just don't smell right. Now, again, we're just going to have to take it for what it is. Again, as time goes on, everything will be revealed for what it is. But again, that's just what they say, right? But I remember earlier today, I was seeing something they were talking about to the fact of this. Let me go ahead and show you what they were saying earlier today, right? It was in the New York Post. And the New York Post has said that, let me set this up. Hold on. Okay. So I said, New York Post had put an article out earlier today around about 10:50 a.m. And it was saying that Joshua Brown fled Texas to avoid testifying against Amber Geiger, right? Now, listen to what they're saying here. Joshua Brown fled Texas to avoid testifying against Amber Geiger. It said the Dallas man who was slain after taking a stand in the killer cop Amber Geiger's trial attempted to evade testifying by fleeing the state out of fear for his life. Okay? A lawyer claimed on Tuesday. Now, according to the story, as it's saying right off the bat, he was fleeing for his life. Now, again, is it due to the simple fact, was this the land that found, the groundwork? Think about it. Was this laying the groundwork to where we going to be talking what I just told you? Right? Was this laying the groundwork? Okay, so listen to the rest of this story. Joshua Brown was gunned down Friday outside his Dallas apartment. Okay, just 10 days after providing key testimony about the night of neighbor Botham Jean's murder, according to police. Now, when they say he was gunned down outside his Dallas apartment, I'm under the assumption, did he stay where everybody knew he was at? Is that they want us to think that he stayed where everybody knew he was at? Right? What you think? Do you think that you would stay after knowing that you're going to testify against 5-0? That everybody know, it's kind of like old Cheers. Everybody knows where you live, right? Know where you live at, right? So anyway, or did he move? That's the question. When they say he was killed outside this complex, was it the same flats complex? Because one article made him, it says talking about flat complex, but it doesn't mention where he's killed at is the same place. So I'm assuming that maybe he had moved. Now, if he moved, all right, then we're going to have to question that, right? Okay, so going on, it says that Lee Merritt, who represented the Jean family, said that Brown repeatedly expressed concerns that testifying would put his life at risk. Now, here is the attorney for the Botham Jean family. Now, who's representing him? So he just, testifying willy-nilly, and you not as needing his testimony to actually help collaborate this conviction. Why aren't you not representing him as well, right? Or you get one of your sister pops, somebody, right? Wouldn't that be like, why y'all leaving him as a lame duck, right? Anyway, so according to what Lee Merritt said, he said that Brown repeatedly expressed his concern about testifying. And he said it would put in his life. Now, when they say that, now again, some people will hear that and think that he's talking about the situation that is now. That did happen, right? That transpired, right? That's what some people will assume. But maybe he's talking about if I testify and knowing who I'm testifying against, don't you know my life is in danger? Is that what he could have been talking about? Okay. So it goes on and says that the roofing contractor had previously survived a shooting in November 2018, and the suspect remained at large. Now, again, there was a situation, according to what they're talking about, that back in November, that there was an altercation, I think it said at a strip club, that he got shot and I think one of his partners got killed. And they never at that time found who the shooter was, right? And so, according to Josh, was concerned that these people still meant him harm. Now again, unilaterally, right? One-sided situation. Because again, it's like Botham Jean's situation. There's only one side there. Now that is Joshua Brown, that he gave the one testimony to go in opposition to what Amber Geiger said. Now that he doesn't exist, now it is about what the whole situation with Joshua Brown. He don't get to speak now, so somebody gets to write on behalf of him now. You get what I'm saying? So now they're saying that this situation that done took place was something that they knew about. Now listen to the rest of this story here now. Now he says that he was subpoenaed to testify against Amber Geiger. He was conflicted. This is what Merritt wrote on Facebook. He wanted to do the right thing. Okay, so he knew, based on the fact that, again, as his testimony talked about, the first time he met Botham Jean was about the leasing, coming there, talking about the, noise complaint. But he said more likely they were smoking weed. But again, okay, so we heard weed at that time, right? All right, so when you heard, okay, so anyway, but the fact is they lay in the groundwork. And so, based on that situation, again, he said that he heard Botham Jean singing gospel and Drake, that, again, he felt some kind of way for him and he felt like doing the right thing. So he in turn told prosecutors, the court, about the dangers he felt was associated with him testifying in public trial. Okay? So he's saying, okay, let's say if this is two-sided stories. Okay, there's one aspect I got to deal with, because again, who I'm testifying against in the fraternization organization. But then I got this other situation that, again, something that happened that took place back in November 2018. And if you make this this is going to be a public trial, which means, I have no anonymity. I can be seen, named. I'm you letting people pinpoint where I'm at, right? Okay. And so he was concerned, according to what they're writing, right? And so it said that Merritt, according to what they say, Merritt said prosecutors pressured him, saying his testimony would help secure a conviction in Jean's murder. Now, according to what this article saying, it is Lee Merritt that is saying that the prosecution or the prosecutors are pressuring Joshua Brown, regardless to the safety of what you're talking about. We need this conviction from you, right? So where is his witness protection there? Where does the witness protection come in at? Because again, so Lee Merritt is for the family, prosecutors for the state. So if he's going to be one of the key witnesses for the state, then where is his protection? He didn't have any, right? So in turn, he told prosecutors in the court about the dangers he felt was associated with the testifying in public, right? And again, Lee Merritt adding that Brown ultimately decided that it was too dangerous. Now, he believed this was too dangerous. Now, he is having a premonition. He is seeing the future before it manifests. And he's telling them, hey, if I do this, man, you know what I'm saying? I got some people out here that, again, there's some, some things that I might have did that ain't closed the ends up on. But this may, be my demise. I understand. I want to do what's right. But again, ain't there some kind of way that y'all can have this where, because again, I read earlier matter of fact, I won't talk about it once y'all get there. So what we see is that Joshua Brown fled to the state of California, and he had remained there until the trial got underway, according to what Lee Merritt had said. But it said it was the prosecutors who kept hounding him and threatened to issue a warrant for his arrest if he didn't appear in court. So he got on a plane and came straight from the airport to the courthouse. Now this is in the New York Post. Okay, today's date. You don't believe? Go see it for yourself. Once he arrived, Brown met with the judge in her chambers about his concerns. Now here the judge even know. Now according to the article, the judge even know that his concern, that he even laying it down. Whatever. Hey, this may not be good for me. Right? That ain't good for me. Right? Okay. So, but ultimately he ended up what? Taking the stand. Okay? Now, according to what this article say, Lee Merritt is questioning why measures weren't taken to protect Brown during his testimony. Right? Now, I guess as the family attorney, there's only so much. But again, in the case, he's helping you in your case, and he's helping the family, and understanding again, as what I read earlier today in my live show of what he said when Mr. Brown's death was, recognized. He said some things that he pointed to that seemed that if anybody not to be looking at Botham or what was his name, the brother and the father, and what the Tammy said in the courtroom, and people questioning his conduct, he mentioned names and things that had took place, right? So he was kind of pointing the fingers in some way, but this was on the table that nobody knew, none of us knew. He was saying this, that he knew not so much that he feared his testifying against the organization. At least, are they commingling this? Are they mixing this up to make it seem one way? You understand what I'm saying? Is that what's happening here? So anyway, so they took steps to cut off the camera and instruct media not to report on an undercover cop that testified in Geiger's trial. Now, we knew nothing about that. Now, this is what the article says. That the court took steps to make sure that a particular undercover cop who testified had anonymity. You didn't get to know who he was, his name, see his likeness, none of that, right? And so now here's Lee saying that why weren't the same measure taken to protect Joshua Brown? See, there's a lot of funny business in here. This whole thing just don't fit. I'm sorry, y'all. It's just not fitting right. So anyway, Merritt said Brown's testimony was powerful, but it was also duplicated. It says nothing he testified to couldn't have been brought in by other witnesses. It wasn't worth his life. So according to what Lee Merritt says, there were other people who could have actually did what he did. He didn't have to do what he did. Right? Wait a minute. So why? But they were steadfast on making sure he did it. Right? See, some not smelling right. You understand? Some ain't smelling right on this. Anyway, says so no suspects or motives have been identified in Brown's murder, authorities said. And this is the time before we get today. And then they go on to talk about how Amber Geiger was convicted in 10 years. So again, according to that article in the New York Post, Joshua Brown was already foretelling what was going to happen to him. Now, again, most people, based on the, general understanding that most of us might have had, our understanding of looking at it, you would think that if anybody he needed to be trying to get himself away from is from the organization and get his ass out of Dallas, right? In Texas, right? But he had another scenario according to what they writing. Now, again, we don't know. But again, you got somebody, right? You got some people. You got a person who was in the hospital being shot, right? And so everything is just the story, right? And it's all still developing. Nothing is concrete. Will we ever hear the true statements from those who they, put before us? Michael Mitchell and Green and And there's Arterius, right? Will we ever hear their side? Not till later, years later. You get what I'm saying? Will we ever get a chance to hear the real story? Because again, can't hear Joshua Brown. We ain't gonna never be able to hear that. So the only thing now is the people that they're gonna put here. And again, I'm not saying whether they didn't do it or not. I'm not saying that. But again, based on our encounters and how we deal with and our interactions with, and sometimes again, we see a lot of people who have been incarcerated for long periods of time, and then to come to find out they be exonerated later on, find out they didn't do it. That has to always be part of the equation if you're gonna really look at this and be honest with it, right? So, that's just what it is, and so forth. It's like, you have to come to your own conclusion. Some people will run with this and say it's signed, sealed, and delivered. Others, again, we're going to sit back and we're going to watch and let's see. But I think it's already a done deal. They got, it's kind of like the Lee Harvey Oswald, right? They got their patsies, right? More than one, right? Now, I don't know what other eyewitnesses is going to be able to put them at the scene other than the fact that either it's going to be ballistics, right? Either going to be ballistics or some other stuff, but as somebody actually eyewitness testifying, that will probably be the only way. And then you may have to even look at that. But again, they could have did. I'm not saying they didn't do it, but no, we got to question it because again, the ironicness. You mean to tell me that they went from Alexandria, Louisiana to come to there to get 20 pounds of weed with no weed nowhere in Louisiana? Maybe you got some good ass prices. Okay, well, that could have been all right. But anyway, so let's just say what that is. But based on your interaction with him, so okay, if you're making that kind of call to come pick up that kind of weight, ain't you kind of like knowing what's going on with him? Like, man, dude, ain't you, when you just doing that damn trial, I don't want to be caught up with the police watching your ass. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hey, wouldn't you be thinking like, wait a minute, police watching this nigga, man? You know what I'm saying? They probably gonna get his ass, right? No, we ain't thinking like that. Okay. Everything was all good after you went and did that. Okay, okay. So they traverse there, get there, and then the story is he the one igniting it. He's sparking it first. So that makes that he's a different kind of individual that the way that he was portrayed. You get what I'm saying? The way that they portrayed him when you seen him testifying and breaking down in emotion. Right. And then he gave me the background that he was an individual, graduated from high school, graduated from college, in construction, got businesses. Now they want to tell you that he was selling weed and drugs. He was dealing in drug dealing. He got killed based on some. You understand? I'm just, again, this is Black Minds News. That's all I'm going to tell you. This is Black Minds News. This is all speculative. Again, opinionated right here because we don't know. But again, according to what they just said, they have 3 suspects in custody. They one at a time go on. They're going to lay it all out and let everybody know what it is. So let me look and see if anybody in the house. I got a couple people in the house. I got nobody saying, okay, what's happening, fam? Mr. Spencer 620 is in the house. What's good with you as well, sir? Glad to see you over here. I'm the hardest working, can't get out of the whole show in Black YouTube, but I still gonna fight. But I got one person, none. The message gonna be there. Somebody gonna stumble across it eventually, right? So anyway, that's what it is, y'all. I don't know what more to tell you on that because, everybody kind of, somebody gets shot and go to the hospital. Popo coming right. It ain't gonna be 3-4 days later, right? So, I don't know. So again, as this developed more, I just put it out there for those who didn't hear it, so you heard it here. And again, this is, I had another part, but I don't want to mix that with this. I'm going to just come back and do another show on this. But so, again, take it for what you want to take it for. Again, speculative about it. It could be fact and exact, but again, sometimes we just going to have to question everything just because somebody presents something don't necessarily mean it is just because they hand it to us. So again, this is Black Minds News. I am your host again, Mr. Blows Your Mind. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming here and taking your time out to listen to what we're talking about over here. And, let me go ahead and click that on. Make sure that's good, right? Let's get it going. All right. Somebody, okay, there we go. So, again, we see you, brother. Hey, come on, can I get some sound? Where's my sound at? Thank you. Can you turn that up a little bit? Thank you. Okay. So again, I want to thank each and every one of you for your participation. Remember, when you see one another, greet your brother. What's good, brother? What's good, sister? Can't do that much, least just give the universal nod to one another, right? Understand, we got to get all this hate, jealousy, and envy out of our ass, and understand that we is all we got. Understand that the uniform and the team that you're on, and there's some people on the same uniform and team you on, got allies. That's a question that those allies tell them they got to ask them. One, if shit and when shit get hot, are you going to still be in the frying pan when shit jump off? Two, have they ever heard of John Brown? Is that something white folks just told us, or is that in itself real? So real to the fact that y'all had to make that man seem like he was crazy for going out his way, helping black folks knowing in the condition that they're in. Now that the time is dawning, that there's a crossroad coming where some of those who are seeking for our demise, so that it is incumbent that we, as BADOS and ADOS, stay vigilant, mindful, high-spirited, and cautious. Till the next show, y'all. Peace and love, fam. Till the next show, y'all. Till the next.